Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Last video when we left off, I had gotten sick of dealing with the O-ring seals on the thermostat housing, and I went ahead and reinstalled the original housing that came off of the car using silicone, the right stuff, and a paper gasket. So that was yesterday. It has had a chance to cure overnight. So what I'm going to do today is fill up the system with coolant, let it sit overnight, and fingers crossed there will be no evidence of any leaking. I've made sure everything is dry and whatnot, so I will have a very good idea tomorrow if there is any sign of liquid anywhere on the timing cover that this thing is still leaking, and I may just need to get rid of this intake altogether, and it may speed up my decision to convert to a different form of EFI, which will definitely keep this thing off the road for some time. So gonna get going on that, and we'll see where it ends up. All right, next day, and I am a very happy person. Looking at the front of the engine, the timing cover and everything, this is 24 hours later. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's dry. There is no sign of leaking anywhere. Coolant's still full in the bottle. I think we finally have a winner. So what I'm going to do is get the distributor installed, get the battery hooked back up, and fire this bad boy up, heat cycle it a couple of times, make sure it does not leak anymore. But I hope that this coolant leak issue is finally behind me. All right, not sure if you can hear me, but this thing's been running about 10-15 minutes. It's been hovering around 85 to 90 C, which is pretty good. That's where we would want the temperature to be. Fan's kicking on as it should, so that's a good sign. Under the hood, looking on the timing cover, I'm seeing no leaking where it would normally fill up the timing cover. Looks to be bone dry right there. The only thing that I saw a little bit of was a little moisture down here, but it almost looks like it's coming off the back of one of the water pump bolts. It's not coming from anywhere near the thermostat housing. So I think I do finally have this problem, as far as the thermostat housing goes, taken care of. So I'm gonna go ahead, turn it off, let it cool down. I'll probably heat cycle it a couple more times over the next day or two, and we'll see where it ends up. Day 3 of this video. It's been about 24 hours since I ran it last. I let it sit and get cool overnight and everything. Taking a look again in the little valleys of the timing cover, still bone dry. That is an awesome sight, so I definitely am thinking we're good with the thermostat. As far as the other side, where I pointed out that one little spot where there seemed to be seepage, did some searching on that last night. That seems to actually be a common problem. There is a hole there. Some people refer to it as a blind hole. From what I could tell, there's maybe some other water pumps on different versions or whatever that might use that hole. And depending on how the gaskets are sealed, it can seep out of that hole ever so slightly. So it definitely seems to be a common issue. I'm going to watch it. Right now it's bone dry there, so the little bit that came out looks like it evaporated. I'll see what happens. If I notice that it continues to do that, I may just get like some epoxy putty and fill the hole with the epoxy putty, since it's not something that's being used. And hopefully that solves the problem. Maybe put some silicone behind it. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But that's what's going on there. So what I'm going to do, like I said, is get to work. Or I didn't say it. I'm going to get to work on doing some reassembly stuff. As far as the heater goes, I still have like the solenoids and actuators just dangling and sitting loose. I need to get those bolted up. I have that voltage gauge I want to get installed, so I might work on that. And then I have to run the duct for the heater on the driver's side, where I'm going to have the one vent under the dash. Figure out a spot for that. So those are things I'm thinking about messing with today. So we'll see how far I get. It's already a little bit later in the day. Don't have too much time before supper, so I'll see what I can get done. All right, and here you can see I have the actuators mounted for the heat system. So everything is plumbed. It's kind of tucked over here behind where the dash will go, so won't be in the way of anything. So I think this is a pretty good spot. Also add a little foil tape just to cover where there's some holes, some gaps and whatnot. It's probably not going to do too much. And I'll eventually insulate this car, but for right now, that's not on the to-do list. It's a down the road type of thing. So want to just kind of get it on the road and see what it's like first. So there we go. That's all in place. I'll tuck all the wires up and whatnot and zip tie them into place once I get the actual dash installed. But just wanted to at least get this done and get that taken care of. All right, and here you can see I got the voltmeter put in place. This is going to be its temporary home. It'll eventually go down lower with the fuel gauge once I get the oil pressure and the clock. Actually, I think the fuel gauge is going to stay where it's at, but the voltmeter will go down with the clock. It's not perfectly centered because the dash is sitting at an angle, so it's I'll twist it and update it once I have time, or once the dash is in place. I did just kind of loosely wire it in. I didn't final solder it because I am going to be adding other gauges, and I'm going to take that apart and then I'll finalize everything once I have the additional gauges installed. Also, the lights aren't wired up. Totally forgot when I was wiring the water temperature gauge, I wired the power into the lights. Forgot that I have a dimmer in the dash, so I need to wire the ground through the dimmer. So again, I'll do that later, no rush on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing started, run it, get it up to temperature, and make sure there's no leaks. All right, so it is the next day. It's Thursday. Ran this thing yesterday, let it sit overnight, and here you go. As you can see, this side is dry. Nothing in that crevice there. So that is a plus. That's the one where I had a little bit of seepage out of that hole, but it doesn't look like anything seeped yesterday. And same thing down here. Hard to see. There we go, there's a little bit of light, but it is dry down in this area as well. So I am gonna say that we've now heat cycled it twice. I've been revving it and whatnot. It's holding pressure, it's holding coolant, no leaks. I think that problem is finally behind me. So check that off the list, on to the next. As I said, it's Thursday. I'm actually gonna be busy tonight and tomorrow. So there's probably not much more I'm gonna do on this video. I'll probably call it a video here. It's gonna be a short one, but at least there's a huge success. So that's a good way to end this video. Probably follow up over the weekend. I'm pretty busy this weekend as well, but I'd like to finish or do some wiring stuff, clean up the two fender wells where I've got the wiring to the front lights, get the battery finish installed, little things like that. I think at this point it's now little projects to get this car put back together. So think that's where I'm going to leave it right now. Hope you're enjoying the content. Hope you're learning something off of this, or just getting some laughs out of my fails. But thankfully I'm at least getting the stuff done, and I will eventually be able to drive this car. So if you're enjoying what you're seeing, please like, please subscribe, please hit the notification bell. There will definitely be more content coming. Like I said, this weekend I'm pretty busy, but I am going to try and get some work done as time allows. So thank you for watching, and have a great day.